Bhagavatam 6, and in the sixth canto we are into the 10th chapter, and this 10th chapter we are looking at the story of Vrtraasura, and Vrtraasura was created by his own father, Vishwarupa, Vishwarupa's father Twashta, and against the Devas, and we saw the Devatas have gone and pleaded to Bhagavan for Bhagavan's compassion, kindness, and guidance. And Bhagavan had asked them to approach the Dhichi Rishi for making Vajrayuddha against Vrtraasura, to implement Vajrayuddha. That is where Indra gets its weapon, Vajra. Vajrahastaha Purandaraha. There's a statement also there. Vajrahastaha Purandaraha. Purandara means Indra, and he is having the Vajra in his hand. So now they're all ready to assemble for the battle, and we saw how Indra was looking so glorious with his new weapon. And so today we'll see the battle part, and we'll see who is all there and whose side. And we saw how Indra was also having Rudra, Brahma, Vishnu, all the other Adityas, Marudganaha, and all those. Rudrair, Vasubhira, Adityaihi. 17th shloka we saw. Rudrair, Vasubhira, Adityaihi, Ashvibhyam, Pidravanhibihi, Marudbhir, Rishu, Marudbhir, Rubhuvi, Sadhyaihi, Vishve Devair Marudpatim. So this shloka shows who is all there on Indra's side, right? So Indra's side had all these people with them. So let's see here. So Indra had all these people on his side. Marudbihi, Rudras and the Marudbihi, Pitru Devatas, Agri Devata, and all the Rishis, and Ribhus, Sadhya, all these are great Devatas. They all have their purpose. Our worship is towards Ishvara in the form of all these Devatas. Drishtva Vajra, then we also saw how in the 18th shloka, how Vrtraasura was not taken away. In fact, he became even more agitated and angry, looking at the size of Indra's army. He was even more filled with vengeance for the death of Vishwarupa. We saw that why Vishwarupa died as a part of the story. So who is all there on Vrtraasura's side? 19th shloka. Namochi Shambaro Narva Dimurdha Rushabhombarah Hayagriva Shankushira Viprachit Tirayo Mukha. Namuchihi, Asura's names who are on the side of Vrtraasura. Namuchihi, Shambara, Anarva, Vimurdha. Vimurdha means two-head. There are some Asuras who have two heads. Very scary to look. Rishabha, Ambaraha, Hayagrivaha. Asuras who have horse as their heads. Shankushira, Viprachit. Then Viprachit, Dhumudar Shabanvra, Viprachithi Ayomukaha. Then Puloma, 20th shloka. Puloma Vrisha Parvacha Praheti Haitirutkalaha Daiteya Danava Yaksha Rakshansi Cha Sahasrashaha Puloma other asuras Vrishaparva Praheti Heti Utkalaha Sumali, Mali, all these asuras, and then a lot of other yakshas and rakshasas. So many rakshasas were also there on the Vrtraasura's side of the army. So Vrtraasura's army also looked very huge. The armies were both very uh, uh, formidable armies. Sumali, Mali, Pramukhaha, Kartaswara, Parichadaha, Pradishidyendra, Senagram, Mrityo, Rapidura, Sadam. The Asura's army also was shining like a golden army. They were all decked up with their armors, and we're going to see what all the ayudas, weapons they had. But this shloka says the Asuras were ready to attack the Devatas no matter what. But Vrtraasura's was so blind in attacking the Devatas, he did not see that the Devatas have Bhagavan on their side, and the Devatas are very difficult to be defeated even by Mrityuhu. Even the Devata for death cannot put an end to the Devatas. So powerful were the Devatas. Durasadam. Then, let us see. Abhyardayana Sambrantaha Simhanadena Durmataha Gadavih Paridhair Banaihi Prasa Mudgarato Maraihi Shulaih Parashpadhai Shankaihi Shadhadhi Bhirmushu Bhushundi Sarvatova Kriyan Shastraihi Astraischa Vibudharshabhan. What all the Astras and Shastras the Danavas were having? What all the weapons the Asuras, the demons were having? They had a huge stash of weapons. Gadas, maces, paridaihi, those spears which have got like a moon at the end. Banaihi is all the arrows. Pramudgatha, Gadarato Maraihi, Tomaraihi. Tomaras means, those kind of things which they can slice and slash the enemies. Shulai, spears, and axes, and so many different types of shastras and astras. So what is the difference between a shastra and an astra? These two words are commonly used for mentioning the weapons, shastra and astra. Shastra means that which you hold in the hand and fight, like a sword and a shield. And those are the weapons you hold on to when you fight. Those are the shastras. Astras are those weapons which you can throw, like shula, spears, bana, arrows. You throw on the enemy, like the disc. Now, if I ask you, Gada, is it a astra or a shastra? So, the Gada which Hanuman holds, the Gada which Bhima was holding, the Gada which Duryodhana was holding, is an astra or a shastra? If that gada is something they're going to be holding in their hands while fighting, they're supposed to be holding in their hands, like the cricket bat. The bat is a good example because now T20 is going on. T20 cricket is going on between teams in India, international teams. So bat is an astra or a shastra. It is being held in the hand. They don't throw the bat. So it is a shastra. The ball which is being thrown is a astra. Likewise. Suppose if I ask you the Balan, Swami Pratyagaatma asks, so there is this picture there. So Swami Pratyagaatma asks, the Balan is the one which they make roti in the kitchen. The woman makes rotis out of the Balan. So is that Balan, is it a astra where he can throw, or is it a shastra which he holds in the hands to hit somebody? It is an astra or a shastra. So it is, you can say it is neither because she is supposed to be using it for making rotis, but if she gets upset, she can either use it as an astra by holding it and hitting somebody, or she can use it as a shastra if you are away from her and she wants to hit you, she can throw that also on you. So this is an example Swami Pratyagaatma used to give. Nade drishyanta sanchannah शरजालै समन्ततः पुंखानुपुंख पतितैः ज्योतिं शिव नभो घनैः न ते अदृश्यन्त संचन्नाः शरजालैः समन्ततः. So what does this verse mean? So they were attacking each other. They were just killing each other so badly. All right? And they were as though they were adrishyanta. Okay. You know, when there is so much of cloud, you cannot see the stars. Right? When there's so much of cloud, you cannot see the stars in the night. That doesn't mean the stars are not there. They're there. Likewise, the asuras were attacking the devatas with so much of astra and shastra. They were raining astras on them. They were holding so much of shastras that the devatas could not be seen. They were attacked. Right? Like suddenly when they see up on the sky, if there are so much of, missiles and everything coming, you won't see the sky. Likewise, the devatas disappeared, not physically, but out of sight because of the dust and whatnot got collecting because of the attacks of the asuras. Nate shastrastra vanaihi, nate shastrastra varshaudha hyasedu surasainikan chinna siddha pathe devaihi lagu hastai sahasragha. But what happened to the devatas? They have Bhagavan on their side. They were all executing Bhagavan's plan. They were just a nimitta. They were seeing Bhagavan. So they decided we are just an instrument in the hands of the Lord. When you see the Lord clearly, when you see the presence of the Lord in everything what you do, then you see yourself as just a nimitta. Very naturally it happens. Your Vishnu Vishwara naturally makes you a devotee. So that is how the devatas were there. They could not be affected at all. So what they did, Laghu Hastaihi, just with their hands, with their left hand, with so much of ease, that's what it means. They could destroy all the weapons. The devatas could destroy all the weapons. Adakshina shastraugha. Girishringa Drumopalaihi Abhyavarsan Surabalam Chichidustamscha Purvavate. Now the Dhanavas, the Asuras had no weapons, but they were so powerful still. They would pluck the top of the mountain. They would pluck a tree. They would take huge rocks and throw on the devatas. But even that had no effect. Like before, the devatas could even destroy them. Anakshatan swasti mato nishamya. Just want to check if, what's his name, our participants, if you have Sunil there. So, okay, he's not there. So then I continue reading the verses. So let's see the verse here. Tanakshatan swasti mato nishamya shastrastra-pubhair-atha Vrtraanathaha Drumai-drushabhir-vividhatri-shrangaihi Avikshataams-tatra Surindra-sainika. Wow, so this is the section where you can see very nicely that now Vrtraasura is suddenly realizing that he has no effect on the Dhanavas. He has absolutely no effect on the Dhanavas, and he is going to lose because he has depleted all his weapons. So when you deplete all your weapons, and if your enemy is still surviving, then what does it mean? It means it is equivalent to losing the battle. But I'm just looking at the document myself. So it is like losing the battle. Okay, so all right, so he has almost lost the battle now. I'm trying to just see both of you here, but here is a zoom part, and then this is a zoom part. I'm going to make it view this gallery, and then I can see all of you. And then I want to also see my document. That's what I'm having difficulty with. Let's stop sharing for a second so I can see you all. And then go for share again. And this time let us see how it works. Yeah, now I can see you all also. So depleted Vrtraasura, and he saw even the trees and mountains had no effect on them. Avikshataans tatra Surindra Sainika. Sarve prayasa abhavan vimoghaha krita deva ganeshu daityahi Krishna nukuleshu yata mahatsu kshudrai prayukta rusharti rukshavachaha prayasa abhavan vimogaha. All the efforts ended up futile. Whatever they could do, they did, but it is all ending up futile. Krishna nukuleshu yata, because they had Bhagavan on their side. See, Bhagavan is on everyone's side. As I was saying before, the Devatas invoked the Bhagavan. Even the Asuras are the devotees of the Lord. Even Ravana was a devotee. That's why he could pray to Brahmaji. He could do tapasya towards Brahmaji, and he got the boon. Brahmaji gave him the boon that he will never be destroyed. So in the Ramayana, if you look at the original Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, Brahmaji was giving him that boon. Brahmaji did not ask for something else. You have to ask at least some, you cannot, you're not indestructible and all that. He might have said that, but he did. Ravana forgot asking about protection from human beings. He forgot. or he was so carried away by his strength that he didn't think them to be a real enemy. So, which means what? Once you take Bhagavan away from your life, once you think that you're a self-made person and you have you can call all the shots and all that, then what happens is Bhagavan is all still there, but he's as though not there. Whereas when the devatas were invoking the Bhagavan and they were they were telling how they were telling to Rishi Dadichi how even the devatas themselves were telling that we are also selfish. We have a reason why we came to you, right? They did not come to Dadichi to take his blessings. They did not go to the Rishi Dadichi to seek his blessings or to have a darshan. They went to Dadichi with the reason of taking his bones and making a weapon out of that. So but the devatas are very humble. Most of the time they're very humble and they're very focused on their duties because they want to be a karma yogi, an instrument in the hands of the Lord to execute their jobs. So devatas saying that we are also having a selfish reason doesn't make them bad. That only makes them even better. They're only becoming sadhus. When you acknowledge your own shortcomings, when you acknowledge your own limitations, then you only become a sadhu, even more of a sadhu. Sadhu means paran karyam sadhunoti, one who is always thinking of good for the others. So you cannot have that as an ideal without knowing the limitations of that. What is the limitation? Sometimes you may have to be a little selfish for the sake of yourself, for the sake of your family, little selfish, because nobody else can step into that role of taking care of yourself, for example, in a certain situation, or taking care of your family in a certain situation. So you have to step up and you have to raise to the occasion and you have to employ a little bit of selfishness in the form of focusing and all that, right? So when you acknowledge that limitation, that only makes you even more practical in being a sadhu, even more consistent in being a sadhu. If you say, I have this ideal of, being a sadhu to be good to everybody in the world, and suppose if you have a little bit of limitation about that, if you keep hitting your head mentally about, then that doesn't work. If you're not kind to yourself, if you don't know the practicality of a value, you can never be consistent in following that value. How do you know the practicality of a value? By listening to all the satsangs where I'm bringing up the stories where even how the devatas are acknowledging that they're a little selfish and all that. That only makes them even more better sadhu, even more better value for sadhutva. So Bhagavan is on their side in this way. So that is what Vrtraasura was missing. Te swa prayasam vitatam nirikshya hara bhakta hata yuddha dharpaha palayanaya jimukhe visrujya patim manaste dadhurat saraha. Dadhurat saraha. See, what happened to the people who were following Vrtraasura? So Vrtraasura was their Bhagavan, but they saw their Bhagavan was so weak. I mean, they didn't see him to be weak, but he was losing the battle. So first thing what they all did, all the asuras who were supporting Vrtraasura, they all ran away. They all ran away from him. Okay? Vrtraasura was very composed. He had the guts to hold on. But he's turning around and seeing nobody's backing him. Everybody has run away. Kalo papannan ruchiran manasvinam uvacha vacham purusha pravira he viprachitte he namuche he puloman he maya narvan chambarate shrunudvam. Hey, he's talking to all the asuras who are running away from him. Who is talking? Vrtraasura. Hey, turning towards him. Hey, Puloma. Hey, all the asuras who are running away. He's giving all the names. Hey, Puloman. Hey, Maya. Hey, Namuche. Hey, Viprachitya. Likewise, he's calling all of them, yelling at them with their names and saying he was still having the guts to fight, as I said. So he didn't want them to run away. He wanted them to be with him. In rain or shine. Likewise, they say, right? You be with me. So he's saying, listen to me. He's not pleading them. He's not begging them to be with them. He wants them to listen to his words. What is he going to say? Let us see. Jatasya mrityuru dhruva yesha sarvatah pratikriyayasya nacheha klupta loko yashaschatha tato yadi hyam hamum ko nama mrityum na vrinita yuktam. So he's saying, Jatasya mrityuhu dhruvaha esha sarvataha. Jatasya means, hey, listen to me. Who is saying Vrtraasura? Towards people who are in his army, all those asuras. If you are born, one day that person will be gone. There's no changing of this rule. You see that everywhere. You don't see an exception. Whoever is born, they will be gone. Everyone is in the line. Okay? So that's what he's saying. There's a Gita, Bhagavad Gita shloka also. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Second chapter. See, he's quoting that. Only thing is quoting only the first section of the shloka. What is Vrtraasura saying? He's saying, Jatasya mrityuhu dhruvaha. So Bhagavan Krishna also says, Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuhu. Dhruvam means nishayana, for certain. Certainly, the one who is born is going to go. Bhagavan Sri Krishna was saying to Arjuna, but Bhagavan is Shastrajnyaha. He knows the Shastra. He had total Shraddha. So he quoted the other side of the shloka also. What is that? Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. This no one knows. Do you all know for certain that one who is gone is going to be born again? Nobody knows. You don't see that. You only see birth or death. You don't see the one who is gone coming back. Okay? Don't say that you know that. Only Shastra has to say that one who is gone for certain is going to come back. Which Shastra is saying? Don't tell any Shastra. Only Hindu Dharma says that. Only Hindu scriptures say that one who is gone will also be born. Dhruvam, for certain. All right? So that is how we are all here. Only our scriptures say that. For that you need the scriptures. Vrtraasura did not quote the other side, that side of the shloka. So, Pratikriya, what is Vrtraasura's point? Pratikriyayasya na cheha klupta. There is no pratikriya. It cannot do, nobody can do anything about death. Iloko yashaschatha tato yadi hyamum. Atha tato yadi hyamum. So, what are we going to do? you are going to seek what you need to seek while you're alive, and also what you can get after that person dies. So that should be the focus. Focus should be what? According to Vrtraasura, what you can gain in this world, and once that person dies, what can be his lot in the other world. So, Konam amrityum na vrinita yuktam. तो you be a बुद्धिमान. कौन बुद्धिमान है जो उस उत्तम मृत्यु को. So what you do is, what is going to be bringing glory to the asuras who are fighting? He says, Yashaha. Yashaha means what? Fame. So soldiers, you fight for the fame and name and glory for you and your countrymen. He is asking all them to continue fighting for the glory while you are there in this world. And then once these soldiers and once all the asuras, when they die, because they fought in the battle, because they did not show their back, because they did not run away, because they took the arrows to their chest and died, what is their lot in the other world? They go to a place called Swarga. That Swarga which all the soldiers who die in the battlefield, no matter which side they belong to. This is very interesting, right? No matter which side they belong to, mostly, whichever side they are, if they valiantly fought for the higher purpose, then they go to the loka called Viraswarga. They directly go to Swarga. There's no waiting time. There's no 1 year waiting time. There's no 12 days waiting time, because when human beings die, they do all the kriya for 10 days, 11 days, 12 days, because that is a waiting time. But the one who has died in the battlefield, he goes directly to Swarga. Look at that. So that is why we honor our soldiers. They're anyway going to Swarga, so they're going to be honored there. So you also join the people who are honoring the soldiers. You know, they look very elegant when the soldier comes in the uniform. Say if you're in the airport or if you're somewhere else in a common place and you see them, you have respect for them because they're doing their duty. They're putting their lives at risk for the sake of a common good. So that is what Vrtraasura's advice for those who are running away from the battle. Now let us to the final shloka here. Dvau sammata viha mrityu durapau. Dvau sammata viha mrityu durapau. Yad brahma sangha sandharanaya jitasuhu. Kalevaram yoga rato vijakhyat. Yadagranir vira shaye nivrittah. So, there is only two ways. Either you fight, okay, and gain this Swarga in this way, or you become a yogi. Yogi, Brahma Sandharanaya. And the yogi takes up to dhyana and tapascharya. That is the other way they can go to Swarga. They have the Anubhava. They have the moksha in that way. So either you be a yogi or you be a Veera. So those are only the two choices for fame and name and glory here and in the world after. So take up to the battle and yoga So don't miss this opportunity. Take up this battle. Join me. Don't miss this opportunity. Likewise, he's advising his fellow asuras who are fighting with him. So the battle is not yet over. When we come back next week, now we'll see Vrtraasura ki Veeravani or Bhagavat Prapti. Even Vrtraasura, who's going to lose in this battle, who's going to die, Bhagavat Prapti, he also has reached Bhagavan. How did he reach Bhagavan? What did he deserve? What was his Veeravani? What did he say? What did he pray? What did he say to attain the feet of the Lord? That we're going to see when we come back in the next chapter. So this chapter is concluding here. It is Srimad Bhagavate Mahapurane Paramahamsayam Samhitayam Sashtama Skandhe Indra Vrtraasura yuddha Varnanam Nama Dashamodhyayah Sampurnam. So whenever a chapter is over, we can chant Sri Haraye Namaha a few times. Sri Haraye Namaha, Sri Haraye Namaha, Sri Haraye Namaha, Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam, Govinda, Govinda.